everyone, welcome to Sweet Tomato Vine Homestead. I'm Linda, and today's video I will be doing a February 2024 garden tour to show you all what we will be working with going forward. We had a snowstorm about 3 weeks ago, and everything out here was covered with snow for like 7 days. And so I just wanted you all to know that this is what we got to work with. We're starting with what we have, and this is just the bare bones of the garden right now. And I want to let you all see so we'll know where we go from here. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with this raised bed right here. And this is the raised bed that I had the collard greens in. So far, nothing has been replanted in this bed. I just added some more soil to this bed to give it a boost. And I also added some fertilizer to the bed. This bed has also been amended with new soil and fertilizer. But it has also been planted with mustard greens and turnip greens. This is my asparagus bed. It is a perennial bed, and I have not put any more soil in it because I do not want to cover my asparagus crowns. If you cover these asparagus crowns, you will not get asparagus the following season. So I did not cover them, but I did sprinkle some Swiss chard seeds in this bed. This is one of my citrus trees. It is a blood orange tree. It has been in the garage during these ice storm days, and so it is still looking very good. This is one of the 3 blueberry bushes that I have in the garden. Underneath it were planted some pansies, but I cut them back because they were looking pretty bad. Right here we have one of the rose bushes that I have trimmed back, and here's another rose bush that has been pruned back. Now this small raised bed still has some red cabbage in it, has some collard greens. There are some turnip greens back there. Right there are some beets. And that is, I think, a turnip green. Then there is some spinach right here. There are some onions in this bed. And there are other varieties of beets here that are right there. If you can see those are some more beets. And I also have some sugar beets planted in this bed. There's an onion that has popped up. I'm just going to push it back in there. Push a little soil around it. And there are some black carrots right here. And right here is my improved Meyer lemon tree. And it has also been in the garage for the winter storm. And I bought it out a few days ago so they could get some sunshine and some of the rain. And it is looking really good. And these lemons are delicious. They are sweet. And those 3 that's left on there need to be harvested. This bed had a lot of stuff planted in it. As you can see, all the little knives that are sticking up, the plastic knives that I use as markers. But right now, I don't think any of those plants have survived because they were just seedlings when the storm hit. We do have, look like some garlic that is still okay right there. But there is a Russian kale, red Russian kale right there. It looks real sick. I'm just going to leave it for a moment to see if it'll snap back. I've been pouring fish emulsion on it, but if not, I'll just go ahead and cut it. Here's another bed that has a red cabbage, and this cabbage is in excellent condition. Have some kale right here. Rutabagas are planted here. I don't know if they're going to survive. Then I have a cabbage right here that looks really good. This next bed also has cabbage in it and some collard greens. There are some carrots planted in here. There is some lettuce, and this is also some romaine lettuce, and then another red cabbage right here. This raised bed has some red Reuben Brussels sprouts. There is some red Russian kale. No, this is scarlet kale. And there's a lot of other things that were planted in this bed, but I don't know if any of them have survived, but I am going to leave the labels in so that in case they do show up, I will know what it is. Now this bed has some garlic planted in it, and I think that it is going to be okay. it was bigger than this. It had just, I had recently planted it right before the ice, and so they are still seem like they're looking pretty good. Y'all can see them. They have survived. There's some lettuce planted in this bed and some carrots. I can see that a few of the carrots have survived right here, and some of the lettuce has survived. I don't know how much of it is going to survive, but we're just going to leave it. I'm not going to put anything else in this bed yet until I see what has survived in the bed. Now this bed is looking much better than most of the beds. It has some arugula, some different lettuces planted in here. There is some leeks there. There are some beets right there. Here's another leek. And that is some lettuce right there. This same bed has a row of carrots right there. There is some celery right here that was looking better a few days ago, but it's beginning to show some signs of weakening. I was gonna pull that off, but it seems like it's pretty tough, so I'm just gonna leave it right there and I'll cut it off. There is some spinach right here. This is the Bloomsdale spinach. Here is some broccolini that I harvested off of a few days ago that was very delicious. More spinach right here and here. More broccolini. Has some more shoots that are forming. And a leek over there that I replanted. This is one of the few flowers that still look good in the garden. This is the Dusty Miller. This is my Fuyu persimmon tree. It is dormant right now. This is a variegated lemon that's doing real well. Another rose bush that I've pruned back. Another pruned back rose. This is a lemon tree that I started from seed. And this is another blood orange tree that's looking really good. It's been in the garage. Okay, right here is my camellia bush. It's looking really good. It's been in the garage. It just came out to get some rain and some sunshine. Another Dusty Miller and some pansies. Okay, we have some collard greens here and here. And right here we have some turnip greens. Some that look like they're about to start putting on some bottoms. Then right here we have some parsley, red cabbage right here, and another cabbage right here. Alberta spruce and some pansies right here. And here are my green onions that I cut the tops off of because they were looking pretty bad, but they're feeling really strong and like they're ready to snap back. Right here is some, I think this is a collard green right here. And here's some kale back here that is looking really good. Has one or two bad leaves on it that need to come off. Right here is the cauliflower that I broke all the little cauliflower heads off of the other day because they were not looking good at all. So I'm going to see if the plant can put off another head because there were like 3 or 4 different heads on there. So I don't know what that was all about, but we'll check back on this because it's constantly growing. If nothing else, we'll get these leaves off and eat them. Then have the broccolini plant back here. Got some carrots right here and a purple kohlrabi. Some more broccolini right here. Lacinato kale. Some red Swiss chard. And some carrots. This bed has some cabbage. Some curly kale. Curly kale right here. More cabbages. There are some curly kale back there and some turnip greens and some broccolini and some onions. Some red onions right here. There's some broccolini. Right here got an early Wakefield cabbage. Right here is some broccoli romanesca that's hanging on by a thread. Another Dusty Miller that's doing good. Right here we have our row of fruit trees. That's a peach, 2 grape. This is a Granny Smith apple and a peach. Okay, right here is some Bloomsdale spinach. And there is also a little bit of Bloomsdale spinach in this bed. So I am waiting for some seeds to come, and I'm going to plant some more Bloomsdale. I have some other spinach seeds, but I want the Bloomsdale. In this bed, I have some curly kale. Got a cabbage right here. Don't look that great, but it's still holding on. Got a red jewel cabbage right here. Not sure which cabbage this is, but it looks really good. And then some cabbage here. And this bed here is the one I planted some radishes in right after the snowstorm. So I do have some germination on the radishes. I planted carrots in these 2 beds right here, but I do not have any germination. And this is what the herb bed is looking like so far. Right now I only have some sage. Both of these plants are sage. And this is some, what is this? Chamomile. That's chamomile right there. And this is my muscadine grape, and it's a perennial, so it will be back in the spring. Right now it is dormant, so it is good to have some perennial trees and plants in your garden, so the continuous food growing from year to year. Some things that you would not have to replant as long as they make it through the winter. And here is a blackberry that will be back also. Right now it is dormant. And then I have a nectarine tree right here. Got a Tiffany rose, and these are my arborvitaes. Have 2 of these, one right here and one right here. In this wheelbarrow, I have a cabbage. This is a Cheers cabbage. I harvested this cabbage, but I still am growing these leaves so we can eat them. And here's another cabbage. It doesn't look that great, but I can always pull back those leaves because the cabbage itself is in good shape. Have some rosemary that is right here behind it. There's a lot of other things that's growing in this bed. Have some onions. I have some kale. This is a walking stick kale. I think that's walking stick kale, but it's not looking that great right now. But I'm just gonna wait and see if it comes back, because I had recently planted it right before it got really cold. There is some choy. Oh, that's spinach. This is spinach right here. This is some kale. Some more onions. There's a lot going on in this bed. This is a cabbage. Have some kale right here. There are some onions. I think this is some choy. It's kind of hard to tell. Choy and spinach look a lot alike. Some more onions. And there are a lot of labels in here. I don't know if all these items that have these labels are going to come back, but I'm going to leave the labels in so that if they do show back up, I'll know what's there. And right here I have 2 blueberry bushes that are dormant. Then I have about 5 rows of brassicas right here, and I'm just gonna walk down them and say what I think they are, because for some reason there are no labels in most of them. I guess because between the rabbit and then I had it covered up and pulling the covering from over it, we may have lost it. But I'm thinking that these are collard, cabbage, Brussels sprouts. So I think that there's a variation on this one, but I believe that this next row is all cabbage. I think that these are all cabbage on this next row. Okay, in this next row, there are some collards. Then there is some spinach. There's more spinach. More spinach. That's a cabbage. I'm not sure. Those look like Brussels sprouts. I think those are Brussels sprouts. Cabbage. That's a cabbage. And that is the cabbage. See if the label didn't tell you what type of cabbage this is. There is not. So we lost a lot of our labels. Okay, so this is broccoli. And so this must be broccolini also, because you can see that there are different little heads on there. So I think these are broccolini, or either the purple sprouting broccolini, because I have two different varieties. So this heads kind of look a little purple. Broccoli. I think that's broccoli also. Spinach. And this is a cabbage. Okay, so right here, I think that these are some, I think these are collards. Then that is some choy. I think it's tot choy. And that one is also in with a cabbage. That is a collard. I think this is a kale. And this is a kale. I think that's a cabbage underneath there. And I think this is also a cabbage. And I think that's a cabbage. Okay, over here we got some kale and some kohlrabi. I think that's a kohlrabi right there. That's kohlrabi. And then I have some red mustards right there. And there are also some red mustards. And these are the chives. And more broccolini. Right here in this Dollar Tree stackable, at the top, there is some Dusty Miller. And then I put a variety of herbs in here. That's a rock. All of these do not have anything in them. Some of them have just been amended with soil and fertilizer. Right here is some, what is this? Some lettuce right here. Arugula. So there are different things that have been planted in here. Bronze beauty lettuce. So there are a variety of lettuces and herbs up here. Some purple lady choy. Okay, on this side, this row here starts off with 3 cabbages. Then there are 3, 4, 5, 6 broccolis. This next row, there is a cabbage right there. Then there is some kale, another cabbage, don't look that great. And then there are some Brussels sprouts. Some of those are looking pretty bad. I'll be cutting some of those top leaves out. Then have some more cabbages right here. More broccoli that I trimmed a lot of the leaves off of, and some more kale that I have trimmed a lot off of. Some of them still need some more trimming, so I'm just going to continue to trim until I get those plants back where they need to be, or until I feed them to the chickens. But they are doing very good for all that they have gone through. I'm not just going to be quick to just take them and dispose of them. We can eat them, or the chickens can eat them. We will. And there's some kohlrabi right here. Another cabbage right here at the end. Okay, and this is the garlic bed. And it's doing really well. Here's the onion bed with the onions that I started from seed. And I do see a little germination. I told you all that at one point after the ice, because this bed was covered with ice also and snow, and so it after, you know, it had germinated, but after the snow I did not see anything. But now I am beginning to see a few of the onions are popping back from beneath the soil. So I'm happy about that they are not dead. They just killed the tops of them, so they are coming back. And here is the bed that I planted the red and white potatoes in about a week ago. I need to add some soil on top, but you can see where I dug the holes and stuck the potatoes in. And these are my onions that I purchased from Dixondale Farm, and when I first planted them, they looked horrible. They were just dormant, so now they are beginning to put on some green leaves, and I'm happy about that. And there's one area over here where I ran out of onions and I didn't have any in there, but I do have a lot of onions planted in my winter sow method, so let's go look at those. Right here is my raspberry bush. Right here is my other Dollar Tree stackable, and I have not did anything to it since the snowstorm, and so this is my next project, is to work on it and get it planted up. Okay, this is where I keep my winter sow jugs over by the chicken coop, and I do have a lot of jugs, and I have a lot of bottles where I put the smaller amounts of seeds on plants that I feel like I didn't need a whole lot of. I just put them in these bottles, and the main reason was because at the time I did not have any jugs. So now that I do have some jugs, I've been planting them in the jugs, but I did use this tote also to do the winter sow method, and inside I have some of the paper cups, foam cups. And so, as I showed you all in a previous video, that I do have some germination on some of my onions, and these are the yellow hybrid onions, and there is some germination on some of the other onions. Let's see, you can't see inside this one, there's no germination in that one, but there are some germination on these shallots. You can see inside of that. So there is germination going on in some of these containers. And there are the girls and the guys, and some of them have started to molt, which makes them not look that great, but they are still happy. And up here in these containers, these cinder blocks, I did plant some pansies in them. Some of them still look really good, and some of them not so good. So I hope that you all have enjoyed this garden tour today and that you'll give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you have not already subscribed. And go ahead and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.